Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to day 4 of 7 Days of Tarot. Today's question is, I totally forgot. What are your top 5 favorite tarot decks that you're using, been using this year so far? It's going to be a couple redundant from the previous videos, but I don't care. So let's get into it. First one, and they're in no particular order, The Tarot of the Sacred Forest by Los Scarabero, published by Los Scarabero. Um, Comes in a tech box like this, which is a good tech box. It's held up because I've used this deck quite a bit. It comes with 2 freebie cards. Really cool. Comes with a little white book. It has, if you know anything about Los Scarabero, which I'm guessing you do, there's one little thing in there like that. Meanings, changing reading, traditional readings, combined readings. It goes into the major arcana, a couple of keywords. The minors gives you a layout of a couple of spreads that you can use, and then it goes into several different languages. So there's probably about 6 pages total in English, and then the rest is like foreign language, several different languages. I saw this deck on Kittens, Weights, and Tarot when she was showing her Altar Space. I think might have been 2 separate videos, but she showed this deck as one of the decks she was using at the time. And I love this deck because there's the colored images on the front, and then the image on the back in black and white. I've done a walkthrough of this deck. Everybody knows this deck. It's no surprise what I'm showing you, but I felt like immediately drawn to it because, one, it's fairies, but it's like a darker deck for fairies. And secondly, I felt drawn to it because it feels like there's a light side and a dark side you can work with. Now, what I want to say is this deck, for some reason, even though it seems like a dark deck to me, there's a lot of religious aspects to this deck, which is weird. Biblical, religious connotations to it. I don't know if that's just how I'm interpreting the cards or what, but this deck has given me very deep readings, very deep, and a lot of them are dark. And what I find fascinating is there's the colored version here, and then the black and white version. Usually the faces, or there's like one thing off that's different than the colored version, which this one doesn't seem to be. Hold on. Got an ant crawling across my computer. That's what I get for filming outside. But the faces, like their faces are still lovers. Is it the lovers? Yeah. And they seem to be happy. They seem to be balancing each other out or lifting each other up. And then this side, if you notice, their faces are askew, so you can't really see their faces, but one is literally white and one is literally black. And it, to me, there's that balance again between good and evil, light and dark, and they almost seem to be trying to push each other away, versus this side, they're like drawn to each other. And that's what I love about this deck is you can literally flip it over and get a whole new meaning. So yeah, I showed this deck quite a bit. I've used it quite a bit. this year. Look at that. It's riding on a crow. Pulled this one quite a bit too. This one was in a spread I did for someone. Yeah. There's it's the Hangman. Actually, this is the Hangman. What was that? Death. That's death. But these images speak to me on a very, there's the chariot, very dark, deep level, the world. And there's one in here in particular. I love this Hierophant. And it's weird because I didn't notice, well, that's not it. There's one of the cards that was on one of the extra cards. Look at that. Gorgeous. This one freaks me out. I've talked about it a lot. Six of Swords. I'm trying to find that one card. This moon. Creepy. And you flip it over, it's even creepier. Because it's white. Almost reminds me of an episode of The Twilight Zone. The Fool. I love him and his crazy hair. This is a tower. And again, you get that sense of release or doing away of something old. And it's weird because it just looks like a person or a fae falling. But then this side reminds me of like a fallen angel. Like it literally looks like the wings are burning away as they're falling. It's just very intense, this deck. And I'm still learning new things about it every day. Every single day I'm learning about this deck. That was the Hierophant. This is the one. It's the Emperor. It's very young there. But then you flip it over and he's got a beard and he's old. Just really kooky, small differences like that. It's just crazy. There's a couple others I wanted to show, but now I can't remember. This is the Hermit. This always reminds me of the Burning Bush. There's the black and white version. It's weird. This one always creeps me out. It's beautiful. It's almost like there's a rip in the relationship. It's torn somehow. And her face is beautiful in this. And then on this side, her face is completely different. Like, almost like a monster. It's weird. Yeah, but it's just little things like that that endear this deck to me because it changes the meanings when you flip it over, and instead of one meaning in each card you have two, and that's why I love the Tarot of the Secret Forest right there. That's why. And I didn't notice till I started actually collecting them and looking at them that I'm like, I got quite a few little fairy type decks now. And this is of course a darker version of it. I've been using this one a lot lately. Tarot of the She. It is published by Red Feather Shipper. Comes in a great box. Comes with a great book. I I trimmed it and edged it. And this one too, this one is more of a spiritual, it's more spiritual to me. Full. And the Hermit. It's so much more than I thought it was going to be when I first got it. It speaks to me on a very ancient spiritual level. And I still haven't quite put my finger on it. I love the artwork in this deck. And this was my card of the day today, which made sense considering some stuff happened yesterday. Made complete sense. I still haven't figured out why I'm so drawn to this deck, but there's a very big spirituality to it. But yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. And I'm trying to draw cards again. And I've been using this deck nonstop last, I'd say, month now. And then we have my Lightseers Tarot. I got it last year, but I've been using it all this year. The book that goes with it. I use it every week for my week ahead spread. It was published by Hay House. It was originally a Kickstarter. It's the backs. But this is the first deck that I got that I was like, maybe I can read tarot, because I was about to give it up and be like, no, I can't do it. And then this deck called to me, and it just, this has been my stalker card this year. Every time I turn around, I'm pulling that card. This deck speaks to me like no other deck out there. And I actually did a video about my tarot journey, and this is what really opened it up. This deck is the deck that was like, yes, you can read it, and it just kind of all fell into place once I bought this deck. The Devil, very tempting. And so yeah, this deck is like home to me. It feels like home, in a gentle, we love you kind of way. And my favorite card in any deck. That's my favorite Eight of Swords of all time. And then I also edged it in this beautiful green to match the green on the backs and the box and most of the cards. Yeah, there's just something about this deck that it's home to me. And this was on Amazon. All the decks I've showed you so far were on Amazon as well, that you can buy super cheap. Okay, next we have Tarot Illuminati. This was my first tarot deck that I immediately was drawn to and was like, I gotta have it. Actually, it was the Apocalypsis Tarot, which I still don't have for some reason, that drew me in and wanted the cards, wanted the deck. And then I realized this was the first one to that deck. The Apocalypsis is like the companion deck to this one. And I'm like, well, I might as well start with the first one. So I got it. It comes with the magnetic box. Look at that gorgeousness inside the box. Beautiful. And this is the book. Great read. Great, great, great book. Look at the back. Um, and it comes with this cute little ribbon that you can, yellow ribbon that you can pull the deck out with. And this was my first attempt at a deck mod. I used a pink gold paint marker, and you can't hardly even tell because every time I saw this deck online, it was already edged in gold, and I thought that's what I was getting. It did not come gold edged. These are the extra cards. This deck, it was really the deck that put me in a space where I was like, so I can understand the cards, because the deck I had prior to this is my second deck ever. If you watched any of my videos, you know the very first deck I tried for months and months and months, could not contemplate anything, couldn't read it, couldn't bond with it, nothing. And then I saw this and I got it. These are the backs. Every part of this is just beautiful to me. And I started getting it, and it's kind of like a Rider-Waite-Smith clone of that tower. And this is the one I've done a lot of work with, like internal work with. But I've used this quite a bit this year as well, more at the beginning of the year. So I started getting other decks and wanting to use them. But this is the deck that literally catapulted me into being able to understand tarot and read it. Oh, look at that. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And my paint marker edging did not go that well. It did bleed quite a bit on here. On the fronts. There's a few that were messed up, but I still love it. And before, it was actually my favorite card in each deck. Eight of Swords. Look at that. It's like a fairy tale. But before, the deck to me seemed just absolutely perfect. And now that I've edged it and got a little bit of gold here or there, it's almost like it's better than it's imperfect now. I can't explain it. I don't know if you guys understand that, but I love this deck too. Love it, love it, love it. This deck is the deck that was like, yes, you need to be reading tarot. And that was published by Lo Scarabero also, which I did not know at the time. It's created by Eric C. Dunn, and the companion book was done by Kim Huggins. Gorgeous. That's the High Priestess on the front. And I will eventually get the Illuminati because it is slightly different. But yes, this deck is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And last but not least, we have got it in a pouch. I've been reading with this every day at lunchtime. My very first deck, if you haven't seen any of my previous videos, was the Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith. I knew nothing about tarot. I literally woke up one morning with the overwhelming need to buy a tarot deck. Couldn't understand why, didn't care to understand why. And so I went and bought the Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith because it had a companion book. It looked like it was for beginners. And then I tried and tried and tried, and I read the book, and I'm like, I don't get it. Then I bought a couple Oracle decks, and I was able to read with those, and then the whole trajectory. I bought the Tarot Illuminati, and then a bunch of other things happened, and now I have a bunch of decks. But I've been looking for an RWS deck because there's so many people out there that were like, everybody falls back on RWS. And I'm like, I don't get it. None of the decks I've been seeing are anything I would work with. Like, nothing. Like, they do nothing for me. And I don't get it. I mean, the artwork is beautiful. Even the Radiant Rider-Waite, the colors are pop and they stand out. And they're gorgeous. And I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Why I can't work with this deck. And all the ones I've seen that were made off of that were Rider-Waite-Smith coloring different, I didn't care for. And then I saw Simon at the Hermit's Cave do a walkthrough of this deck from Make Playing Cards, the 2.0 Tarot. And I ordered it, and oh my god, like, the colors in this are brilliant. Why is it upside down? Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Just wow, look at that. Just it's I have no words. No words at all. Look at the yellows in this are amazing. The blues in it are amazing. Like, look at this Hermit. Gorgeous. Look at this 5 of Wands with the sky. It's just crazy. And this yellow here just stands out so much better than anything I've seen before in a Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And I was so drawn to the colors. I'm like, I don't care if I can read with it. I want the deck. I got the deck, and then, like, this is my favorite in here because look at that sky. This Empress is phenomenal, 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 phenomenal. And I took it to, something told me to take it to work. And I took it to work, and then about 10 minutes before lunch, it was like somebody was telling me, hey, take it out and go read with it. Pull a card for the end of the day to see how the rest of your day is going to go. Look at that sky. And I pulled a card, really not expecting anything, because I know in the back of my mind it's the same images as the Radiant Rider-Waite, as all these other decks I'm seeing. Yes. And I pulled a card, and instantly it registered with me what the card was, what it was about, and I was like, oh, like, wow, like, I connected with this deck right then. I could feel the moment I connected with this deck. Look at this 8 of Swords. Oh, my favorite card in any deck. Beautiful. And ever since then, I can't not read with it. At lunchtime, every day I read with it at lunchtime, and every day it is spot on how the rest of my day goes. It's crazy. I love that sky there. Crazy. Oh, this is my probably second favorite sky. Look at that. I swear I just did this one. But yeah, this deck is amazing. And I really, really resonate with it. It has had some phenomenal readings. Look at that moon. Wow. And the star. And it's amazing to me. Just the color change in it now takes my breath away. And I love, 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 love this deck. Love it. It is one of the newest in my collection. And I put it down. And this is the card that I pulled that first day. And I'm like, oh my god, because it is so right. Because every day feels like an uphill battle. I'm carrying all this weight on my shoulders at the end of the day. And every day is like that. And it was not wrong that day. But then different days I would pull different cards, and they were all like spot on every day. This one I've actually pulled, I think, day 2 when I started bringing it to my work, and by the end of the day, it literally felt like I had been stabbed in the back. My back hurt so bad because we had like all this extra work we had done, and I was like, wow, it was right again. Look at that strength. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. I'm starting to lose daylight. That is amazing. Look at this guy. So, yeah, that is my. I could show these cards all day long. They're gorgeous, and I love how um, the colors extend outside the black border, so it almost is like there's no border. And that's probably what I love about them. This death card. Wow. You see how the colors change from yellow to gray on the outside. So it's almost like there's no borders to me. That. Gorgeous. 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 And so, thank you, Simon, if you're watching, um, for introducing me to this deck because I absolutely love it. And I'm so glad it is now in my collection. And I got another one that actually has black borders that I love, but I'm so stuck on this I can't get off of it. So yeah, that was all 5. Wow, I already did all 5. All 5 of my favorite decks that I've worked with exclusively this year. I've pulled a couple cards here and there from the other ones, but these are the ones I've worked with for several weeks or even months at a time. This one I work with, I did almost everything with it during the time of quarantine. It was like April and May, the whole 2 months. I was just everything I did was with that deck. But the rest of these, I've just been every day or every other day. I switch them up, and I have to pull something from them. But that's my top 5 favorites that I've used this year so far. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you're notified of any future videos in the future. And you guys have a great day. Bye.